Previously on tabgabs, we met Lindy, who was on her way to her best friend's birthday party. Upon her arrival, her best friend Adrian explained that they would be playing a game in which the partygoers were put into couples. Lindy was paired with her crush, Taylor Bergen. What will the couple have to do? Will they kiss? Will it be embarrassing? Lindy's saga continues now.
All right, now who do you guys want to be the first couple to go? Adrian called when she was done calling names. Everyone yelled out names, and it went on for 5 minutes before Adrian got them quiet and conducted a civilized vote. Sounds to me like you guys want Gabe and Allie to go first, is that right? Everyone began cheering and whistling and chanting. Gabe and Allie were sworn enemies, and everyone wanted to see what would happen when they were stuck together with no choice. Gabe and Allie, come on down! The couple slowly stepped forward. Oh, Lee! We need you!
Lee, if you remember, is Adrian's older brother that hasn't been mentioned for 2 or 3 pages.
Lee stepped into the room and everyone cheered. He took an exaggerated bow. Let's get started, he said, clapping his hands and rubbing them together. Adrian, open the chamber! Adrian led the couple to the front room and opened the door to the big walk-in closet. Lee entered first and motioned for Gabe and Allie to follow. Reluctantly, the couple entered, and Adrian followed them, giving the crowd a big dramatic wave and then closing the door. Lindy's heart skipped a beat, and she became very nervous. She should have known Adrian would do something like that. What in the world would she need Lee for? She probably rigged it somehow so Taylor and I would be together purposely, Lindy thought. She knows how much I like him, and she's always trying to match people up. I should have known she'd do something like this.
What a horrible best friend, right?
Lindy sighed and closed her eyes. She let her head fall against the wall and tried to picture herself somewhere else. Somewhere calm where no one could bother her, and Adrian couldn't try to hook her up with Taylor anymore. Howdy, partner, a voice said, and Lindy felt someone sit down beside her. She opened her eyes and looked into the smiling eyes of Taylor Bergen. Hi, Taylor, she stuttered. What do you think they're doing in there? He asked. You never can tell with Adrian, she answered. And with Lee in there too, Gabe and Allie may not come out human. Guess, Taylor said. What? Lindy asked. Guess what they're doing, Taylor repeated. What do you think they're doing? Lindy asked him. Planning a big, elaborate scheme, Taylor answered. You know, like those things they sometimes do at hotels and stuff, the murder weekends? You think so? Lindy asked. Maybe, Taylor answered. Well, Adrian told me Lee studies hypnotism, Lindy said. I bet he's in there hypnotizing Gabe and Allie to do something outrageously stupid and embarrassing. You mean like acting like chickens and stuff? Worse, Lindy said. Knowing Adrian and Lee, something like running through the neighborhood naked. Taylor laughed. They wouldn't do that, he said. Oh, yes, they would, Lindy exclaimed. They did it to me! No lie? Taylor asked, astonished. No lie, Lindy said. Lee hypnotized me to run 5 laps around the house naked. He wanted to test his powers, and Adrian knew streaking was something I would never do. So she figured if I did it, Lee really could hypnotize people. Jeez, Taylor groaned. I hope I was right. Or we were both wrong, Lindy added. A few minutes went by in silence until Adrian opened the door to the closet. Everyone, meet Gabe and Allie, the hottest new couple at Wayside High, she announced. Gabe and Allie came out holding hands, Allie leaning her head on Gabe's shoulder. They walked to an empty chair, and Gabe sat down and pulled Allie onto his lap. Then they kissed. Everyone gasped. What happened? What'd they do to them? Gabe wouldn't do that for $1 million. They hate each other. A chorus of astonished questions and comments rang out. People begged Adrian and Lee to tell them what had happened in the closet, but they refused. I can't give away my secret just yet, Lee said. But here's a big hint. If you don't get this, you've been living on the moon. He snapped, and immediately Allie jumped away from Gabe with a cry of disgust. Oh my gosh! Allie exclaimed. Yuck! What did you do to us? Gabe exclaimed.
Exclaimed was the only excited description that I knew then, apparently.
Oh no! I was right, Lindy exclaimed, and covered her face with her hands. Beside her, Taylor cursed quietly. I can't even imagine what they'll make us do, he muttered. Oh, I can, Lindy said. I can imagine many things, and all of them are much worse than that. Great, Taylor groaned. All right, the next couple is my pick, Lee said, and I pick Lindy, my doll, and your lovely friend. Should have known, Lindy muttered. I knew he'd pick us. He's just that cruel. Well, at least we're together in this, Taylor said. That's why I'm scared, Lindy said. Come, it's time to work my magic once more, Lee said as Taylor and Lindy slowly walked toward him. Step into my chamber and be transformed. I really don't want to do this, Taylor said. Too late, pretty boy, Adrian said and pushed him into the closet. You've already been picked. We shouldn't have to do this if we don't want to, Lindy said. Oh, come on, you two. It's just for fun, Lee said. Then he leaned close and whispered in Lindy's ear. And the truth is, I didn't pick you because I'm cruel. I picked you because you're the only one I know. Lucky me, Lindy muttered. Take a seat, Adrian said. We have lots of couples to get through. Lindy and Taylor, realizing they had no choice, sat in the side-by-side lounge chairs and braced themselves to be hypnotized. Close your eyes, Lee said. Taylor and Lindy looked at each other nervously. Then they did as Lee said. Now, relax completely. Imagine you're laying in the middle of a big field. The sun shining down on you. You're completely calm, completely relaxed. Then you see a silver ball floating in front of you. Watch the ball. Follow it with your eyes. Suddenly, it's dark when you fall into a deep sleep. Lee snapped, and Lindy's head rolled to the side. She and Taylor were fast asleep. Lee looked at Adrian and grinned. Don't make it anything too terrible, Adrian warned. She's my best friend, and she really likes this guy. Don't worry, little sis, Lee said. They'll both enjoy it. Believe me.
Tune in next time to see the continuing adventures of Taylor and Lindy.